Trump just did to Charlie Woods wasn't just surprising. It stunned fans, shook the rankings, and flipped the spotlight in a way that has the entire golf world asking, did we just witness the next big rivalry? Two teenagers, two surnames that carry weight, legacy, and expectation, but for very different reasons. Charlie Woods, son of the one and only Tiger Woods, was born into the fairway spotlight. Every swing, every tee shot, every appearance has been tracked, critiqued, and replayed. He's not just a golfer, he's the heir to a kingdom, carrying the hopes of fans who watched his father change the sport forever. Kai Trump, on the other hand, came up quieter. A steady presence on the junior circuit, yes, but not one many expected to rise to this level, this fast. She's the daughter of Vanessa Trump and granddaughter of the 45th President of the United States. While her last name garners attention, nobody in the golf world was quite ready for what she'd bring to the table. Until now. Both Charlie and Kai walked the same school halls at the Benjamin School, a prestigious private academy tucked in the heart of Palm Beach County, Florida. It's here in sunlit practice greens and weight rooms that two of the most talked about juniors in America quietly train, unknowingly building toward a moment that would shake the foundations of junior golf. The battleground, the Sage Valley Junior Invitational, not just another tournament, but the tournament. Often referred to as the Masters for Juniors, Sage Valley isn't for everyone. It's exclusive, elite, and brutally competitive. The names on the leaderboard don't just represent high school students, they represent the future of professional golf. And this year, Sage Valley had a new electricity in the air. With Kai and Charlie both in the field, the cameras were rolling, the press was circling, and whispers filled the trees like Georgia wind. Some came to see Charlie dominate. Nobody came expecting Kai to steal the story. But what unfolded over 3 days at Sage Valley wasn't just a surprise. It was a moment. One that flipped expectations, sparked headlines, and left fans stunned. Because behind the fairways and flagsticks, something unexpected happened. Something that no one, not even the most seasoned analysts could have predicted. What Kai Trump did at that tournament changed everything. And by the time it was over, the world wasn't just talking about Charlie Woods anymore. Golf doesn't forget greatness, and it doesn't let you quietly carry the legendary last name either, especially when that name is Woods. Charlie Woods stepped onto the Sage Valley fairways not just as a junior golfer, but as a symbol of expectation. The son of Tiger Woods, perhaps the most dominant player the game has ever seen, doesn't get the luxury of flying under the radar. From the first time he picked up a club, Charlie's swings were broadcast, his putting strokes studied, and his potential endlessly debated. And why wouldn't it be? He's shown glimpses of brilliance far beyond his years. His fluid swing, his poise under pressure, his ability to lock in mentally when it counts. He's played beside his father in the PNC Championship, holding his own under a global spotlight, all while barely into his teens. Charlie Woods isn't just a junior, he's a legacy in motion. But legacies can be heavy. Charlie entered the Sage Valley Junior Invitational as a ranked competitor in the American Junior Golf Association, AJGA, drawing eyes from every corner of the sport. As Golf Monthly noted, this wasn't his first rodeo. He's been tested before, and at Sage Valley, fans expected another polished performance, maybe even a win. But across the field, another name was beginning to spark interest, one that didn't come with decades of golf baggage, at least not in the traditional sense. Kai Trump, granddaughter of Donald Trump, wasn't known as a golf prodigy. She didn't grow up in front of ESPN cameras. She didn't play with a 15-time major champion on national television. But what she did have was hunger, discipline, and now the chance to change her own narrative. Until recently, Kai flew under the radar, quietly improving, quietly climbing. According to Yahoo Sports, her appearance at Sage Valley was her highest profile tournament yet, and the chance to make a mark against the best in junior golf. The same Golf Monthly article that spotlighted Charlie's climb also noted the unexpected rise in Kai's AJGA ranking, despite her final result. That wasn't luck, it was earned through grit and through simply being in the arena when few thought she belonged. The pressure was real, just not the same. For Charlie, the pressure was to live up to history. For Kai, It was to escape the shadow of her name and build her own path. One carried the crown, the other carried the question mark. In Sage Valley, it was more than just a tournament. It was a proving ground. Here, every swing carried meaning. Every putt was a declaration. For one, it was about living up to a legacy. For the other, it was about finally stepping into the spotlight. But neither of them knew what was about to unfold next, because the shot that stunned the crowd wasn't Charlie's. It was Kai's. You could feel it in the air, the tension, the stillness, the sense that something bigger than golf was unfolding beneath the Georgia sun. Sage Valley wasn't just hosting a tournament that weekend, it was hosting a moment. And no one, not the analysts, not the fans, not even the players, saw it coming, especially not from Kai Trump. The stage was ruthless. Sage Valley Golf Club is known for its undulating greens, its punishing fairways, and its Augusta-like aura. A place where pressure exposes weakness and only the strongest walk away with their heads held high. For a young player stepping onto this course for the first time, the stakes are more than just strokes. They're emotional, mental, even spiritual. Charlie Woods, he held his own. Yahoo Sports confirmed he finished tied for 25th in a crowded, hyper-talented field. Solid, steady, expected. He showed control, especially on the back nine, and did what most assumed he would do, prove he belongs. But the real story, the one whispered by stunned fans behind the ropes, belonged to Kai. It wasn't about a winning scorecard. It wasn't a highlight reel full of eagles or holeouts. It was something quieter, something harder, something more real. Kai Trump finished last, but somehow she rose. As Golf Monthly pointed out in their post-tournament analysis, despite her final placement at the bottom of the leaderboard, Kai's AJGA ranking jumped significantly. Why? Because of who she was up against. The elite of the elite, the best junior players in the country, the future of golf. The Palm Beach Post echoed that surprise, noting that while the leaderboard might have told one story, the ranking system told another. This was a breakout, and that's the twist that stunned everyone. In a tournament known to chew up and spit out newcomers, Kai Trump didn't fold. She didn't quit. She showed up, stayed locked in, and played through every single hole, even when the numbers weren't in her favor. That kind of resilience, you can't coach it. You either have it or you don't. She had it. The pressure? Immense. The expectations? Low. And yet, when the scorecards were finalized, the takeaway wasn't about her rank. It was about her resolve. Charlie Woods came to confirm the hype. Kai Trump came to change the narrative. She didn't need a trophy to make noise. Her growth in the AJGA standings, her name now etched into conversation with the sport's future elite, did all the talking. She left Sage Valley with more than experience. She left with respect. Because in a tournament where stars were expected to shine, Kai Trump created a moment. And everyone noticed. The scorecards were signed, the trophies were handed out. Sage Valley was quiet again. But the noise had only just begun. In the hours following the final round, a single question began trending across social media, echoing through golf forums and group chats like a shot off the flagstick. Who is Kai Trump? The daughter of Vanessa Trump, the granddaughter of a former US president. But this time it wasn't about politics or headlines. It was about golf and grit. Her name exploded online. Tweets, TikToks, Instagram Reels, all buzzing with surprise, praise, and curiosity. Kai Trump didn't win, but she won over the crowd. Her ranking jump, despite finishing last, became a viral moment in itself. Even fans who'd tuned in only to watch Charlie Woods suddenly found themselves rewinding clips, double-checking her stats, wondering how they missed what was unfolding right in front of them. And the media? They took notice. Fast. CBS, Golf Digest, Newsweek, outlets that had historically focused on the Tiger Charlie storyline, were now running headlines with a new twist. It wasn't just Woods' show's promise. It was Trump's surprises field. Suddenly, Sage Valley wasn't a one-name show. Even The Sun weighed in, noting that Vanessa Trump herself publicly acknowledged her daughter's achievement. Her repost of Kai's tournament highlights on social media, paired with a simple but proud caption, set the tone. This wasn't just a mom supporting her kid. It was a mother witnessing her daughter break through a barrier. and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something much bigger. Coaches in the junior circuit started whispering what fans were already thinking. Kai showed more than talent. She showed mental steel. Former pros praised her willingness to grind it out through a difficult round, her refusal to check out even when the leaderboard turned red. One analyst on a golf podcast put it plainly, "That's the kind of toughness you can't teach. That's a player you don't forget." And while Charlie Woods remained the draw, the prodigy everyone came to watch, it was Kai's composure, her unshakable attitude, and her unexpected rise in the AJGA rankings that flipped the script. Golf Digest even floated the idea that Sage Valley 2025 may have been a watershed moment for girls junior golf. Because what Kai Trump did wasn't just impressive, it was symbolic. She proved that names don't guarantee greatness, actions do. She reminded the world that in a sport built on patience, resilience, and quiet strength, sometimes the loudest statement is made without ever lifting a trophy. And just like that, the next generation of golf had a new name in the conversation. Kai Trump had arrived. The scoreboards have been cleared. The cameras packed up. Sage Valley's greens are quiet once more. But what's been set in motion can't be undone. Because now golf fans are asking a question nobody predicted heading into the weekend. Is Kai Trump a legitimate rival to Charlie Woods? Just a few days ago, that would have sounded like fantasy. Charlie was the headliner, the story, the heir to a throne. Kai? A footnote, a name some recognized from headlines unrelated to golf. But now, everything's different. Charlie's performance at Sage Valley was solid. No fireworks, no collapse, just calm consistency. A tie for 25th in a stacked field is no small feat. It's what we've come to expect from the son of Tiger. Poise, power, a quiet storm brewing. But Kai Trump did something else entirely, something unexpected. She reshaped the narrative. Despite finishing last on the scoreboard, she climbed the AJGA rankings. She battled through one of the toughest junior tournaments on the planet, surrounded by the best, and she earned her respect the hard way. That matters. That sticks. Now the dynamic has changed. This isn't just Charlie's stage anymore. The spotlight's splitting. And what's more, this may be the start of something bigger than just two names. Are we witnessing the birth of a new era rivalry in junior golf? Think about it. Both attend the Benjamin School. Both come from high-profile, highly scrutinized families. Both now stand on the edge of careers that could shape the future of the sport. But they couldn't be more different in how they arrived here. Charlie's been under the microscope from day one. Kai slipped in through the side door and may have just stolen the show. So what happens next? Well, it just so happens there are more tournaments ahead, more chances to face off. The Junior PGA Championship, the AJGA Rolex Series, and potentially even Team USA Junior events loom on the horizon. And if both keep rising, it's only a matter of time before they clash again. This time with even higher stakes and even more eyes watching. But this isn't just about individual matchups. This is about a shift in the narrative. For years, junior golf has been about who can carry the past into the future. The next Tiger, the next Phil, the next Rory. But now we're seeing the rise of names and stories we never expected. And that's what makes this so powerful, so compelling, so human. Because golf is no longer a quiet gentleman's game being passed down between fathers and sons.
Be here. And what came next was pressure. Charlie entered the junior golf circuit with a target on his back. He wasn't just competing with kids his age, he was battling a myth, a name, a last name that has rewritten the history of this sport. Over the past few years, he's trained under Tiger's mentorship, built a disciplined routine, and grown into his frame both physically and mentally. But let's be honest, no amount of reps on the range can prepare you for what it's like to enter a US Open qualifier as Tiger Woods' kid. The pressure was building, but would it break him or sharpen him? And that brings us to 2025. Charlie Woods, now 16 years old, walking into Wellington National Golf Club for his second crack at the US Open qualifying rounds. This wasn't just about making it to Pinehurst, this was about validation, about silence, about proving that the kid behind the viral highlights and Sunday red polos actually belonged, that the son of a legend wasn't just a story, he was a contender. And in this high-stakes moment, Charlie did something nobody expected. Fans and media alike circled this date with a big red pen. Not because they expected him to win, but because they expected something, anything, a breakout, a collapse, a headline. What they got instead was a little bit of everything, and a whole lot of surprise. But the surprise wasn't in the score, it was in the way he played. Because this wasn't just a qualifier, it was a statement moment. And Charlie Woods made sure that the entire golf world heard it loud and clear, and what he said without saying a word was louder than anyone imagined. So, here we are. The stage was set at Wellington National Golf Club. The Florida heat hanging in the air like the pressure that clung to every inch of Charlie Woods' shoulders. And what happened next wasn't what fans expected, but it did leave them stunned. And nobody saw the next few hours unfolding the way they did. Charlie Woods shot a 3-over par 75, a number that, on its own, might not raise eyebrows unless you understand the full story behind it. Because in the ruthless world of US Open qualifying, where even seasoned professionals get eaten alive by one bad hole, a 75 from a 16-year-old amateur? That's not failure, that's noise, that's disruption. That's the start of something. And golf fans are starting to realize this wasn't just another scorecard. He missed the cut line by 7 shots, didn't advance to final qualifying, didn't make headlines for clutch birdie streaks or a miraculous eagle on 18, but this wasn't supposed to be about the final score. Not really. It was about progress, about redemption from last year's brutal qualifying attempt where his nerves, inexperience, and sheer magnitude of the moment clearly got the better of him. And this time, everyone could see the difference from the first swing. And this time, he stood taller, he held the club firmer. He didn't crumble under the pressure, he battled it. And he walked off that course with something far more important than a tee time at Pinehurst. He walked off with proof. Proof that his name isn't his only weapon anymore. Let's put it into context. The average qualifying cut hovered around even par, and while Charlie was 3 over, he was ahead of dozens of players in the field, many of them older, more experienced, and with actual PGA or Korn Ferry Tour time under their belt. This wasn't a kid playing in his age group, this was a teenager stepping into the lion's den and holding his own, and in doing so he forced everyone to take him seriously. His round had its highs and lows. The front 9 was tight, pars strung together like a pro grinding through a moving day. A bogey on the 7th threatened to rattle him, but he bounced back with clutch recoveries, especially around the greens. On the back 9, a 2-putt bogey on a par 5 and a missed short-range par putt were the tipping points. But the mental composure never cracked. He looked like he belonged, and that quiet confidence might just be his biggest strength yet. And that's the twist. He didn't make it. But this wasn't a failure. It was a warning shot. Because moments like this tell you far more than a trophy ever could. This wasn't Charlie collapsing. This was Charlie arriving. One round doesn't make a career. But one round like this, it gets everyone watching a whole lot closer. And now that he's arrived, nobody's looking away. Let's be honest. When Charlie Woods stepped onto the course at Wellington National, fans expected one of two things: brilliance or disaster. Either he'd drop a near-miraculous round that would send social media into meltdown, or he'd falter under the weight of expectations, unraveling in front of a field packed with experienced, hardened hopefuls. But what we got instead, it was neither. And somehow, that was more shocking than both. Because sometimes the biggest shock is calm in the chaos. Because Charlie Woods didn't make the cut. He didn't hole out from the bunker on 18. He didn't shoot under par and silence every doubter in one swings. But what did stun the golf world was just how calm, composed, and, dare we say it, professional he looked. At 16 years old, walking in Tiger Woods' shadow with cameras tracking his every move, Charlie handled the pressure like a seasoned vet. And that maturity, it hit harder than any winning score. And that's what no one really saw coming. Because when expectations are sky high, grace under pressure becomes the real headline. From the moment the first tee shot left his club, there was a different energy about him. Not flashy, not nervous, just poised, controlled, focused. He looked like he belonged. And in a sport where presence often means more than performance, that was what left fans and analysts alike genuinely stunned. He didn't just show up, he announced himself without saying a word. The Tiger effect was in full force. Let's not sugarcoat it, Charlie isn't being judged like any other amateur teenager. He's Tiger's son. Every swing is dissected, every round magnified, and because of that, every slight misstep is headline material. But here's the paradox that really got people talking. He didn't qualify, yet this was his most impressive moment yet. Because real greatness isn't just in the result, it's in how you carry the weight. Social media buzzed in the aftermath. Golf Monthly called it a solid performance under elite scrutiny. The Spun emphasized the composure that belied his age. Golf Magic framed it perfectly. The score might not reflect it, but Charlie made a statement. Even fans on X were quick to shift the narrative from "can he qualify" to "this kid's the real deal." And just like that, the conversation around Charlie Woods changed forever. You could feel it, a collective pause from the golfing community. The reaction wasn't disappointment, it was respect. It was acknowledgement that this wasn't a viral clip or a father-son novelty anymore. This was a young athlete carving his own path, quietly, efficiently, on his own terms. And in a world built on hype, authenticity is what really stuns. And that's why everyone's eyes are locked in now. Not because he won, but because he proved something far more valuable. That maybe, just maybe, this kid's ready to take on the impossible. And that's a future nobody wants to miss. Now that the dust has settled and the scorecards are in, one question hangs over the golf world like a thick morning fog. Is Charlie Woods the real deal? Because while the headlines focused on the 3-over par finish and the missed qualification mark, something much bigger is starting to take shape. And fans, analysts, and even skeptics are all starting to realize it. And what they're starting to realize might change the narrative entirely. Let's talk trajectory. On paper, this result doesn't scream breakout. He didn't qualify. He finished 7 shots back. But in terms of development, it might be the single most important step in Charlie Woods' journey yet. Why? Because it showed growth. It showed awareness. It showed maturity beyond his years. All the markers of a rising star who's learning how to build something that lasts. And sometimes steady growth is more powerful than overnight success. Charlie's still just 16. Think about that for a second. Most kids his age are still figuring out high school, not walking into US Open qualifiers with thousands of fans waiting to dissect their performance. And yet, here he is, handling interviews, executing a game plan, and showing discipline in course management, and all of it with a name that could crush even the most confident junior golfer. That's not normal. That's rare. And in this game, rare is what gets remembered. And here's where it gets really interesting. The improvement is undeniable. Compared to his previous attempt, where nerves clearly got the better of him, this was a different player. He looked sharper, more composed. He didn't just swing hard and hope, he thought through every shot. According to Golf Magic, his course awareness and poise under pressure are beginning to mirror the Woods legacy. The Spun called him strategically sound and emotionally mature, which is a polite way of saying this kid gets it. And once you get it, you're already ahead of the game. But let's zoom out even more, because when you step back, the bigger picture becomes crystal clear. How does Charlie stack up to other prodigies at this age? Well, history is clear, so even the greats rarely cracked major qualifiers as teenagers. Rory McIlroy didn't make his first Open appearance until 18. Jordan Spieth missed multiple US Open attempts before breaking through. Even Tiger himself wasn't qualifying at 16. Charlie's already closer than most, and the spotlight he's under, multiply that pressure by 10, and still he shows up swinging. That says everything. So does this result hurt him? Not even close. If anything, it solidifies the belief that this kid isn't hype. He's foundation. He's slow burn development in a world that wants instant results. He's building, learning, adapting, and doing it all under a microscope. And the best part? He's just getting started. The question isn't whether Charlie Woods is the real deal. The real question is, how soon before the rest of the golf world realizes it? Because when they do, it might already be too late to catch up. Now that the final putt has dropped and the qualifying dust has settled, one thing is crystal clear. This wasn't the end of the road for Charlie Woods. Not even close. In fact, if you look past the scorecard and see what actually unfolded at Wellington National, you realize something bigger. This was the beginning. A quiet, disciplined, fiercely focused beginning. And beginnings like this, they often lead to something massive. Let's set the record straight. This isn't a setback, it's a stepping stone. And if Charlie's recent performance taught us anything, it's that the story we're watching isn't about one tournament. It's about the trajectory. More qualifiers are on the horizon, more chances, more tests, more growth. And after this round, golf fans everywhere are suddenly very interested in where this journey is going. Because when a star starts rising, everyone wants front row seats. Because this wasn't some novelty appearance. This was a 16-year-old amateur showing that he belongs in the conversation, that he can handle the expectations, the cameras, the Tiger comparisons, all of it. And now, with one major US Open attempt under his belt and another one showing real improvement, Charlie is in the perfect position to learn from this, regroup, and come back stronger. And the stronger he gets, the harder it becomes to look away. And here's where the speculation begins, because the road ahead is anything but quiet. And if we've learned anything, it's that Charlie travels well on noisy roads. Could we see Charlie Woods take another shot at US Open qualifying next year? Absolutely. Based on the progress he made between year 1 and year 2, it's almost a certainty he'll be back. And don't be surprised if he's a serious threat to advance. The gap is closing fast. And when the gap closes, momentum takes over. But what about pro tournaments? Could Charlie get invites to PGA events before turning 18? Maybe not next month, but let's not pretend it's out of the question. He's got the name, the swing, the poise, and most importantly, the mentality. If tournament directors are looking for ratings, they know what a Charlie Woods tee time will do to their broadcast numbers. And Golf with Buzz